Um, some slight technical issues. Let me turn my voice down. Let me turn the desktop down. There's two of me. There we go. Okay. We're back now. So, the first elephant in the room is that my audio just completely died, but we're back now. We are good. We are doing great. I can hear. You can hear. We are no longer deaf. Maybe blind. We'll see how today goes. Oh, okay. I wanted to retweet. So I should talk about the elephant in the room first. Check Terezi's song title. I saw on the Discord. We're gonna look at the credits first today. So today's routes include Equius by Lalo Hunt and Terezi by Sarah Zadig. Character artists by Zamag. Ooh. And backgrounds by Gina Chacon. Ending illustrations by Gina Chacon. And the music is a QR code. Which, if my information from stalking the Discord is correct, it just says the sentence, check the metadata, and if you check the metadata for the song, it just says, wow, you actually looked. So there you go. It's a little mini arg. Let me see if I can. There we go. I can talk into the mic right here because this is gonna be Equius. We're gonna Nepeta, you must cease this foolish behavior at once. So we should talk about the elephant in the room, the massive, gigantic, overweight elephant in the room, which is Vriska. I didn't stream Vriska's route, and I didn't stream Gamzee. I didn't stream Volume 6, which I had some life stuff going on. I had some non-Homestuck related stuff going on, and some very Homestuck related stuff going on. A lot of Risk Course. I think Vriska stopped me from playing her own route with all the Risk Course. To very quickly summarize my thoughts, Gamzee route was fine. It's about what we all expected. It was totally cool, totally fine. I like the meta plot stuff. There's some weird dimension traveling stuff going on, so we'll see if that continues today. But the Vrisk course, let's get a little bit for the Vrisk course. This is a little mini. We have a little mini, not a podcast, spelled left bracket capital S right bracket, which is my not a podcast. It has no relation to any other podcasts. And it is not a parody or rip-off of a certain other podcast. It's just me talking about Homestuck, which I need to do more of. But the Vriska route, which it was written by someone who runs a podcast that this little talk has nothing to do with, I liked the writing. I liked it. I think he's a great writer. I think the Vriska route encapsulated the late Problem Sleuth, early Homestuck feel that not even Hussey can write anymore, because like Dirk's ship of Theseus. People themselves are ships of Theseus. And the Hussey that exists today is not the Hussey that lived then, and he can't write like that. The podcast host who wrote the Vriska route, she can write like that. There's Homestuck stuff in there. Vriska's dice roll titles and the class titles, that's all, like, some of that's taken from the comic, but a lot of that is really good Problem Sleuth style lingo. It's great. What I didn't like about it was that it didn't, I don't think it, as a transgender woman, and I must get deep into the Vrisk course here, as a transgender woman, I don't think it did things justice. Not as much as non-binary and trans-male representation has been in Homestuck. I think the Roxy's epilogue stuff was great. I think the non-binary stuff in Hive Swap's fine. I think Lonk was a really interesting thing to do with that. Vriska, it fits her character. And I get what they did because it fits her character. She wouldn't flaunt things. She would just be, shut up, I'm a woman, don't talk to me. Which is, as a writing for Vriska, I think it's great. And I know that the June stuff is coming, and the June stuff will be the representation I want. The June stuff will be about coming out as transgender in your early to late teenage years and dealing with your friends. Like, the Roxy was dealing with it as an adult. Vriska is dealing with it as your default. You were transgender before you met your friends, and they only know you as that. And June will be the story I want. But I so far I think trans female representation in Homestuck has been shafted in the same way that male and male relationships have been. There have been incredible lesbian relationships in Homestuck. Rosemary is flawless. Their wedding's beautiful. Their epilogue is great. There's been Vriska and Mina. There's been even Mina and Arania. Mina is involved in a lot of it. But there's been a lot of really good lesbian ships. And when you get to gay ships, you have Dirk Jake. And when you just look at the raw amount of kisses, which isn't a good way to judge it, it's like... But Rose and Kanaya got their kiss on screen. Vriska and Mina got their kiss on screen. Jake only ever kissed a severed head on screen. And John and Gamzee kissed in a little jokey scribble flash. And that's it. That's all the male-male representation. Dave Cat happened, but it happened at the very end of the epilogue, which is text only, and it's the best representation we've gotten so far, or that they've... I don't know what to call myself. I'm my identity's all over the place, but we just aren't there yet with that. We need something better. We need something better, but this isn't about representation. It's nitpicking, because it's more about the story, it's more about the writing, it's more about the development of things, and I think I still am very positive. We'll see what Homestuck 2 is when we see more of it than the introductory update, when there's actual raw meat to it. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, and I know we're getting there. Okay, now that's why I didn't play Vriska's route. If that jumble of words I said makes any sense, that's why I didn't play Vriska's route. Or I played it just off stream. So now we're going to play some better, not better, I shouldn't say that. Vriska route was great. We're going to play some different routes. We're going to play Equius. We're going to play Equius. And, sorry headphone users, but we're going to play the Terezi route. Which I need to workshop the voice a little because it got confused with my Caliborn. Less controversial routes. Yes, there you go. See, Caliborn's up here. Caliborn rolls his eyes a little more. But Terezi's a little lower, a little more gravelly, a little more homey. Marge Simpson, but it's like I'm Terezi Pyrope. I really draw out my vowels like a joke Yoda. John, would you like to hear a joke? It's your sex life. Okay, we're gonna go to Equius route. Ooh. Got that main theme going? Might do you turn the music down a tad. Let me know in chat if it's too bad. It's really loud in my earphones, but I know my earphones are really sensitive. Need some more accurate headphones. It's a clear, cool night, and you're wandering around trying to decide whose hive you should crash at. And suddenly, out of the corner of your eye, you see him! Shia LaBeouf! No. Whose hive you should crash at before the sun comes up. It's nice having so many options for places to stay. You've cultivated a decent community for yourself, and there is an ember of pride in your belly about it. Still, you find yourself feeling a little aimless. The last couple of friends you made were pretty intense. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you're vibing at a chiller frequency right now. There's still a while until it gets dangerously light out, so you sort of pop around, seeing what feels right. It's kind of fun to test out the boundaries of your powers. You've used it to find friends, but you're not really sure how far it goes. You think tree, and you don't know how your magic brain decided which one to choose, but fuck if you aren't sitting on an extremely high branch a second later. You try it again, with whatever concept comes to mind. You try it again with whatever concept comes to mind. Garden. Cave. Mall. And it works. You don't remember ever having been in any of these specific places, but you feel a strange prickly affinity to them each time your feet touch the ground. Those are all pretty generic locational nouns, though. You wonder if it works for things that are more abstract. Quickly, before you can talk yourself out of the naivety of it, you think of home. It still takes you a minute to open your eyes, even after you feel your guts all back in the right place, because what if you wake up in a room that feels like yours? Or worse and infinitely more likely, what if you don't? You breathe in deep and immediately cough wretchedly. You open your watery eyes, clinging to the hope that maybe you come from a land of dusty comforts, where you always just breathe in layers of dust, and it's fine. It's not fine. You've landed inside of one of the spindliest, most precarious hunks of metal that has ever been bolted into the side of a cliff. It looks like some ancient outpost. Not homey at all. Of course that wouldn't work. It was stupid to try. Defeat is a bitter in your mouth. There's a twisty part of you that wants to curl up on a particular piece of floor and take a nap. You can't work out how much of that urge is just you wanting to give in, so just in case you don't surrender to it. Maybe you'll come back another time and sift through the shit on the shelves, but for now you're not sure how structurally sound this thing is, and you can't take any more disappointment. So you try one more time to pop somewhere you haven't been before. What was that one guy's name that Gamzee mentioned? Oh yeah, Equius! Maybe he's chill. You think his name and zap away, imagining yourself leaving an edgy, despondent swirl of dust in your wake. There he is. The boy. Your magical zap calibration isn't as off as you thought, because you pop in on Equius as close as it is possible to get to the dude without landing directly on top of him. The astonishing unchillness of the situation is imminently apparent. He's mid-jump, mid-yell, mid-sweat, and mid-swing out of outlandishly beefy arm down towards you. You freeze frame like an anime protagonist analyzing their choices mid-battle. In your drawn-out split second of an observational window, you realize he's not aiming at you, but in the direction of whatever noisy whirring thing you happen to plop down in front of. Fuck. As soon as he sees you, his eyebrows shoot up above his busted-ass glasses, and his yell strangles itself into panic. His arm shudders as though he's trying and failing to alter his glorious faceward trajectory. You really don't want to get your face punched off your head, so you scream and zap just outside the high-arched door at the end of the room. You hear a deep, meaty thunk, followed by a groan, then a sharp metallic crunch. The whirring stops. Oh my god, look at those Ludzium statues. Ooh. Oh my god, is he dead? Is the other thing dead? Should you go check on him? You skitter away from the door and then back to it, unsure what to do. Reedworm. Was that? No, it can't have been. Hello? Show yourself this instant. Ah, fuck, he does not sound happy. His words are a little garbled too, like some teeth just got knocked out by whoever's ass he was just kicking. You weigh your options. Chicken out or be brave? We're gonna be brave. Look at the hoof lamps. Oh no, man, you know, the Gamzee seal of approval is maybe not the most credible, but this guy might be an okay dude. And it would definitely be your fault if you were hurting there. You should at least check on him, explain or something. You can zap away if it all comes to it, and that music's getting very loud, so we're gonna bloop. You do the polite thing this time and knock. He opens the door fast, like he was just on the other side of it. You both jump. He collects himself and glares at you, arms crossed against his heaving chest. Rivulets of blood and sweat run together and pool in the divot behind his weird alien clavicle, and a low menacing sound rumbles through him. You can feel it in your teeth. Holy shit, he's terrifying. Explain yourself immediately. You think you might shit your pants on the spot, but he gives you a quick up and down and rearranges his expression into a sort of forced smile. It doesn't really feel welcoming with the blood dripping down his chin, but the fact that he's trying is maybe a good sign. You hold in your fear shit just in case. Or, perhaps, come in and take a seat. He steps aside to beckon you through the door, and sort of freezes. Unless you should be the one instructing me, in which case it would behoove you to make that promptly apparent. I cannot work out exactly how to address you when you don't wear a caste symbol, and you look like that, which I am either very sorry for or quite cross about, depending on where the truth lies. Either way, I am beginning to perspire about it. So out with it right now. Man, he's really struggling. The anger you felt radiating off him is still there, but that doesn't seem to be all of what's driving him. It's like there are two competing forces inside him. One that wants to yell at you, and one that wants to get yelled at by you. Swallow the world and the seven seas. Some of them want to yell you. Some of them want to be yelled by you. Remember Sucker Punch? You might conceptualize these forces as fierce animals warring in a glorious and unwavering balance. Horses, perhaps? Anyway, you'll workshop that metaphor later. You tell him you know you look weird, but you promise you're cool. You know a friend of his. At the mention of Gamzee, the corner of his lip curls up into something complicated, so you change course real fast just in case. And Karkat! Does he know Karkat? Oh, what a guy! He eyes you warily. Or, you think he probably does. With his eyes hidden behind his shades, you can't be sure, but he's being very still. Sweat and blood are still just fucking running down his face, and he's not even acknowledging it. You laugh nervously. You both continue to stand there, waiting for the other to make a move. It would be super helpful if someone was assertive around here. I didn't set my correct title. It still says I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2. That's remarkable, Equius, Terezi. Remarkable advertising for the game. This is Homestuck's in the Red Dead tag. I'm so sorry, Twitch, don't ban me. We're fixed now. Equius and Terezi, sweat and blind and can't see LMAO. Worst title ever. Perfect. Luckily, some kind of... Oh. Whew. Oh boy. Woo. Woo. Is it getting hot in here? Whew. Woo, mama. Woo. I just realized my wet hair from taking a shower has made it look like greasy Equius hair. It's perfect. Woo. Hubba, hubba. His Lucis, you assume. He breaks the awkward doorway stalemate by silently trotting up and handing Equius a desperately needed towel. He then offers you some frosty glasses of milk. Something deep inside you, it feels a swell of warm recognition for the ritualistic moment of a friend's parent bringing you snacks. So you down that thick shit in one go. The Lucis's mustache flutters in appreciation, and after a nod between him and Equius, he leaves as quietly as he came. I see you're an aficionado of the sweetest of nectars. This speaks to the likely... Speaks? Sure. This speaks to the likelihood of your nobility, which is reassuring. I may be able to overlook the circumstances of our meeting then, if you can provide some strong evidence, of course. Tell me, are you also a hoof-beast art enthusiast? He beckons you inside the room, and as you follow, you tell him you're not really sure what that means, but probably. You're a fan of a lot of... who's texting me? Okay. Oh. Wow, okay, so that's what that means. Cool, yeah, you know, whatever. I feel like you learned that once anything can be art if it feels right, so art can definitely be, well-muscled horsemen on the walls of this here living space. Equius rumbles in agreement and gestures towards a chair. It's one of those cool red and black gamer chairs with those embedded speakers. There's a lot of those kind of decorating motif here, which is a little at odds with the high ceilings and engraved doorways and general blue blood old money architecture. Oh yeah, and there are broken bows and robot parts all over the goddamn fucking place. Not neat little stacks or connected to other robot parts to create whole robots, just like an absolute wasteland of obliterated robo-corpses. Like they were all torn limb from limb and then just scooted off toward the wall. A fair few of them are spattered in blood too. Dried, it looks almost black, but the fresh stuff on the fists of the one in pieces at your feet is bright indigo. On the other hand, it is absolutely a relief to see that it's all metal and not flesh body parts scattering the floor, but it's also still, you know, not fucked up looking. Your smile probably has too many teeth in it to seem normal, but Equius returns it in kind and leans. He probably thinks as casually against the edge of his desk. It creaks under his weight. Jesus, he could just end you in half a second, couldn't he? You claim we have mutual acquaintances. That's the worst thing Equius has ever said. So demonstrate it. He nods toward the screen of his desktop where he has Trollian open. Oh, fuck. Okay, I guess you just gotta click on someone and ask them to prove it. Will I still get a chance to do my Gamzee voice? He seems to know both Karkat and Gamzee, and between the two, you know who's most likely to be online and ready to pester and be pestered at all times, so you click his screen name and start typing. Centaur's testicle began trolling carcinogeneticist. Hey Karkat, I hope you're having a good day. I just had a quick favor to ask you. Wait, what? Oh, also, I miss you. What the fuck? What happened to you? Where's your horrifying quirk? How am I supposed to saddle up for some truly nauseating conversation if I don't even have a not veiled at all bulge reference greeting me at the beginning of every one of your excruciating messages? Are you sick? Like in a new way? Oh, right, Jesus. You're logged in as Equius. Your fool ass just started typing like you had your own account for some reason. Blame it on the nerves and get to clarifying. Oh, sorry, this is your new friend. After I dropped you off yesterday, I wandered around for a while, and now I'm hanging out with Equius. I'm using his computer. Oh, my pusher almost fucking gave up on the spot. I don't think he trusts me. Can you vouch for me? Hold on, let me just bask in the concept of the two of you hanging out. This is a mental masterpiece, a tableau of awkward fucking splendor. I legitimately do not even know what sort of short-circuiting must be happening in his brain to try to make sense of you. Please don't tell me a single fucking thing about it later. Okay, I'm done now. Is he watching? Equius leans over your shoulder, standing there, watching. And tucks his hair behind his ear so it doesn't get in the way of typing. It's a bow and arrow. Any resemblance otherwise is only a pleasant coincidence. And yes, I am watching. Okay, whatever. Listen up, you milk-log chum squelcher. This little guy right here, the one you're probably dripping sweat all over, that's one of the realest friends you will ever hope to make. Sure, they'll send your life careening horrendously off course, but it will be absolutely worth it for the level of dedication they bring to the table. Don't even bother with the blood color horseshit with this one, since they're the only one of their species. Just roll with it for once with your wretched life. Don't fuck this one up, Zayhawk. They're an abomination, and they wouldn't know what a boundary was if it took up residence in their grease chute. You two have those things in common, so in this case, that's a good thing. Equius inhales sharply, and you wonder what Karkat meant by that. About Equius, you mean. Sure, you're an inexplicable being, neither Earthling nor Alternian, but with weird, itchy memories about having lived on both planets. But he doesn't seem out of the normal range of fucked up, considering troll standards. In fact, how about this? That is sufficient. Goodbye. He minimizes the window and steps back, somehow sweatier than he was before. He taps the towel gingerly to his forehead. So, we now have been properly introduced. Okay then, you definitely thought he was going to be more thorough than that. He doesn't seem to be a little shaken up, so maybe you should just be thankful the conversation got cut short before you could really dig it too deep into your lore and get judgmental about it. I do not know the standard order of communication with your species. You will take the lead here, and it will surely become clear how I should proceed. Yes, that seems extremely feasible. You will now begin the friendship process. I command it. Oh, sure, you got this. How exactly do you got this? Alright, show off the cool powers. We're gonna zap somewhere. Great, you can do that. Making friendship happen is like the one skill you actually have. From what you can recall, you have a 100% success rate at it too. So this budding report is safe in your hands. Excellent. Whew, you really weren't sure I'd be down for this. It really seemed like he might be coming to kill you when you heard him stomping around toward the door earlier. Kill you? I would never. He cuts himself off as though he didn't intend to admit he didn't have it in him to murder you, and clears his throat. At first I thought you might be Arthur, my Lucis. It's ridiculous looking back, though you do share a sort of globular plated resemblance. How did you come to entangle yourself in my brawl only to immediately escape? Are you abnormally fast? I admit that particular method of being strong had not occurred to me, but I am intrigued. I too like to test the limits of physical capability. Oh, no, you can just zap places. It's kind of a strength, maybe, but if you want to define a superpower that way, you show off a bit, since, you know, Equius likes demonstrations. You tell him about how all you have to do is think of the place or person you want to visit and pop. You bop him to the top of a pile of robot parts, then back in front of him down the floor. It's like that, except anywhere. I see. This is exceptional. He sort of just starts quaking gently where he stands. He rubs his neck with his towel, but he's not really even sweating more than he had been already. It's as though in excitement he forgot to sweat and just dabbed by force of habit. Is that a thing? Why are you even noticing this shit? Is it possible to bring along a pillion rider? What, like zap a buddy with you? In answer, you extend an elbow for him to grab. His whole body is vibrating at this point. He reaches his hand up, which stops just before he touches you, like you might shock him. It's okay, it won't hurt, you say. His fingers twitch just above your elbow, and his mouth purses in distrust. You're not sure exactly what he's worried about since you're extremely undangerous, but you let him have a moment to work through whatever he's nervous about. He takes a steadying breath. It's a little unsettling to see his face relax, even briefly, into soft, calm lines. Flipped palm up, his hand slowly cradles your forearm from below. He nods, a sharp, determined movement, and starts telling you what to do again. You will take me with you. Her name is Nepeta. Do you require any other information, or will that be sufficient? Oh, that ought to do it. Are we going to get Nepeta sprites before she showed up? You haven't heard of her, but you don't think, but you feel an immediate surge of excitement about this little jaunt. It's probably mostly just the friendship thirst talking, but you just can't help but feel this is a connection that is supposed to be made. Like it's something that matters. You zap away. The pleasant little cosmic slip and slide feeling when you zap around is jolted, like you got yanked off the ride with a fishhook to your guts. You land back exactly where you started. Oh, we're getting to meta stuff. He can't zap to Nepeta because we haven't seen her yet. Because we haven't seen her yet. Because there isn't somewhere to zap to. So when he thinks of tree, he goes to a background with a tree because that's a background they have drawn. They don't have a Nepeta cave drawn yet, so he can't zap there. Did you mislead me? No, this should work. You're not even high this time. As impressive as the strength of your power is, perhaps you need to apply more attention to the more intricate details involved. She is an olive blood, very short, and shamefully unkept. Nepeta is short compared to Equius? That took 9 years to confirm. This information will help. You hope so. He is starting to look pretty tense with his fond lilt in his voice as he talks about his messy friend. You give it another whirl. When you feel it, that same weighty glare in the back of your neck, telling you don't belong. Oh, you got zap blocked again. You will try again. Each word is ground out at a time between his clenched teeth. Blood trickles through the cracks in his bite and out the corner of his lips. I really don't think it's going to work, but Equius looks like he's a second away from completely losing his shit. So reluctantly, you comply. Quit fucking trying to skip ahead. It's not going to work. As you hurtle through space-time towards Equius' floor, you start to wonder if this is just going to be what happens now when you try and make friends. Accept the truth in your heart as your face accepts the impending wood planks. Equius lands on his feet a little ways from you, his hands balled into fists, bellowing with impotent rage. He's not even saying words, just unleashing an agonized guttural wail. He punches an already dead robo-torso leaning against a bookshelf. In punctuation, he kicks his decapitated head, which explodes in a shower of bolts and sparks. As the dust clears, you see him dutifully wiping himself down with a towel, breathing hard. He seems to have worked his anger out because he walks with a purposeful grace, as though he learned it in Cotillion. And he sits next to where you're still sort of laying on the floor. You are both silent for a beat. Equius tugs at a lock of his hair, anxiously wrapping it around his finger. His hands fall to his lap. I apologize for that display. The disappointment emotion is not my favorite. I feel better now, however. My Moira lives very far away, so our paths have never been able to cross. Aww. Maybe we debunked the headcanon that Nepeta's cave is below Equius, which is why the cave-in happens. But now we know that Equius and Nepeta have a long-distance relationship, and it adds weight to the meeting in the medium. Whatever force is blocking us, it seems to wield significant narrative power. Oh, my dad's home. Hello.
Hello.
I'm streaming the new Homestuck volume, so I'm talking to myself.
Okay.
Whatever force is blocking us seems to wield significant narrative power, so I will respect its whims as mine and above mine in status.
Caucus.
If it was Doc, it's him. For now. Ha! You know what happens. You're no stranger to the ups and downs of friendship. The trick is to know when to keep trying and when to fall back, no matter how futile it feels or how alone you are. Your morale is impressive considering your circumstances. That's probably mostly a compliment? You're not really sure. Your circumstances definitely feel like they could be worse. Doc doesn't swear. Doc doesn't swear. Equius doesn't. Oh yeah, right. Because the T-posing figure swear. But that's Dirk, I think. I could have said it in a Texan accent. Now, you don't go skipping ahead in the narrative. You're trying to skip ahead. Me and Rose here, we're trying to populate a planet over in Earth D, and we're calling it Planet Dirk because it's the planet of me. Yeah, Equius is aware of the narrative. It's very weird. You are very sure of yourself. How do you manage this when you are only one of your kind? Without a society to tell you how to act or feel, how do you know if you're living in the correct way? I live in a society. How do you know where you belong? Or if you belong? Ouch. The desire to belong is a yawning wound in your guts, one that never seems to heal. You try not to let this rip too many stitches out of it. Give me 1 second. I need to fix my audio. Okay, yeah. Can do a game. Give me 1 second. This won't be long. There we go. Test. Perfect. Okay. Now you can still hear me, but some of the background audio will be pushed out because I got family here now. Incredibly accurate characterization of Equius to be aware of the narrative and be like, well, I'll just stay in my place. Yes, yes. There's a narrative. I'm in a comic book. Well, I better act how I'm supposed to. What am I supposed to do? Please tell me. Please tell me what to do. The desire to belong is a yawning wound in your guts, one that never seems to heal. You try not to let this rip too many stitches out of it. You never feel totally secure, you say. There's always fear, always doubt, always pain, but you find people in unlikely places. Make community when and where you can. You have belongings at, what, like 8 people's houses now? It's not the same as having your own spot, but it's definitely something. You started off on the defensive, but you realize it's true. So really, you figure, you're still defining yourself by your relationships to other people, but that can come from a good place, and not just a twisted and forced one. You get wanting to know you're doing something right, unlocking your own mentally devised set of achievements for that sweet dopamine rush. But leaning on a fucked up social system for direction and validation doesn't really help him, and it definitely isn't helping many others. You don't need that to figure yourself out. His brows furrow, and you can almost hear a couple of the 4,672 rigid barriers in his brain creaking open. It's not just other people, you think. You find strength. Is that right? In your own self, too. You've met a lot of people and learned a lot of the ways to be, but you're still working on what that means for you. No, it is not right, but I appreciate the attempt. This type of understanding does not come easy to me, but I believe I am following. In my case, I have striven to locate and retool the edge of my ability. Physical prowess is a relatively typical indigo trait, but I am abnormally strong. I have worked to hone it in an attempt to make some sense of myself and why I am like this. Reining in an aberrant trait and defining myself by it. I think reigning should have a G. I'm not sure. He gestures to the god-awful robot mess that flexes his hand. The blood has coagulated since the two of you started talking. He stares at it. This way of thinking may not always be a good thing, however. Certain habits are difficult to break. Though there are loopholes in every rule, I often lose track of regulations I actually enjoy following, and which I do not know how to disregard. At least with this hobby, all the stakes are under my control, with no chance of others getting hurt. Unless they haphazardly zap in between your fight looking for friendship, that is. His smile is as broken and rigid as it was the first time, but it looks different, backed by the rough warmth of his laugh. Yes, do not do that. Yes, do not do that again. Oh, sorry, yes, do not do that again. Next time you will zap to the front door, and Arthur will let you in. Next time, you think, and smile back. Oh, look at him. Wow. What's that outfit? Is it the Flarp outfit? Or did we got one from Gamzee? I've so lost track of the outfits. I don't know where he got this little snuggie from. Okay. We got the good end. That was a relatively tame, except that one time Dirk T-posed at us. That was a relatively tame story. We're gonna chicken out now and see the quick end, which sometimes is a detour and sometimes isn't quick. Oh, Kanaya made the dress. Okay. Yeah, I guess we haven't seen the dress. So that must be it. Equius looks super strong and even more pissed. You really, really do not want to be next in line to get disemboweled. Your friendship with this guy is really meant to be. Maybe you can reconnect with Gamzee as an intermediary? That sounds like a normal and cool time. Panic grips you as his heavy footsteps approach the door. Forgetting that you have super useful zap power specifically for use in time-sensitive panic situations, you turn and run. You glance over your shoulder as you go and collide spectacularly with a brick wall. Looking up from a brightly polished floor where you lay, inexplicably doused in milk and broken glass, you realize it wasn't a wall you hit. It's a glistening, part pseudo-humanoid, part cow beast person? Another godforsaken Lucis, maybe? You really aren't sure, but the fact that his top half looks kind of like a more dapper you fills you with the most cursed mixture of fear and curiosity you've felt thus far. He doesn't seem bothered by you at all, only anxiously trying to get by you. You try to stand up, but you slip on the milk and eat shit, just as Equius bursts through the door. They both tower over where you lay, flopping ineffectively in a bludgeoning pile of froth. God, is everyone in this house just made of muscle? Not enough of this regular strength escape attempt. Bruised, humiliated, and covered in dairy, you zap out of there. Humiliated. Oh man, look at those statues. Ugh. Alright, Equius bad end. I have a feeling this is gonna be rough. So we're gonna talk, so we're both freaks, huh? But we're not gonna show them the powers, we're gonna talk about horse artistry. You decide to just go for it, sometimes leaping into what could potentially be a super sensitive topic for someone who ends up being the key ingredient of a friendship pie. You can see it now, Equius crying, thankful you are here to talk about whatever this unspeakable commonality you share is, you wiping his tears with his already pretty soaked towel. You shake yourself out of your daydream and drop this sweet loaded question right in his lap. You really can't wait to see till this works. Excuse you. Speak for yourself. My standing is unblemished. Karkat is only comparing us in that way to further the rules that he has removed from that particular category. It is a delicate social dance. Oh, okay. You're not really sure what Karkat sees it that way, but hey, whatever works for them. Anyway, you know, he was just yelling a lot about something that's not a big deal as his manner of showing affection. But you just thought he meant like the horn thing. The horn thing? Oh, you're sorry. You don't know what things are and aren't cullable around here, you know? It's almost like it's an entirely arbitrary at the whims of whoever's in charge or something. You like the look personally, but you haven't made friends with someone with a broken one before, so you're not sure how common it is. It is relatively uncommon. They are exceptionally sturdy, so it takes something very strong to break them. He looks like he might be about to tell you the story, but somehow you keep not learning the lesson where you just chill and experience something instead of leap to try to figure it out before it happens. So, fueled by your enthusiasm for your newest spur-of-the-moment decision, you stop listening to his lecture on troll biology and focus in on zapping to the moment he broke his horn. Now, in Paradox Space, this happened like 3 different times, and it became a running gag that he always broke his horn in ridiculous different ways. Look at this one. Troll biology is probably super uninteresting anyway, and you'll come right back here after and be able to contribute more to the conversation. Oh, what the heck? Okay. Pop into familiar nothingness, but instead of appearing at a point Equius' past, you feel yourself split. It's like looking at a magic eye puzzle, but with your whole body. You try to concentrate, to align the segments into a whole, but it's too late. You think for a second it might be a cool new power, but it doesn't feel that different than before, only just triple. Like there's a narrative precedent for this moment existing in more than one plane of truth. Oh! That's clever! Unable to do anything else but sit there in space, contemplating this paradox, you watch. He looks a little younger, but not much. He's being the shit out of a robot, but it's not the same as it was when you saw it before, however briefly. Look at Equius with both horns! Then his movements have been smooth, even in their rage, like he wasn't afraid until you showed up. Here in the weird half-present space, his movements are erratic. He swings wildly, unthinkingly, like there was nothing left inside him but one last flicker of fury. His teeth are gritted against tears, and he just looks so tired. You want him to pull back, to make him rest. You see him reach the same conclusion, but not at all how you meant it. He just stops. The robot does not. You feel him close his eyes. The same moment, you see another snapshot of time. Much further back. Oh my god, look at that sprite. There's a little grub wobbling its way up a stalagmite in a cave. It's definitely a precarious place, but it still somehow feels safe to you for some reason. Safe, but also like super violent? Who knows? There's a lot going on right now. He crawls to the top and roars a baby-clicking roar, eyeing a taller cave precipice. You see his little behind wiggle as he moves to jump. Over top of that, there's another Equius, looking about the same as he does now, just plus one horn, out for a stroll in the moonlight. There is one about to cross the street when a majestic herd of hoofbeasts crest a faraway hill. He stops, transfixed, as the animals gallop across the plain. He does not hear the approaching scuttlebuggy. Equius! He's got his earpods in! Oh no! You watch all of this from your floating void standpoint, unable to stop it. The arcs of their falls align in comic synchrony, their hair fanned out like a banner of defeat. The echo of the crack the horns make as they shatter reverberates off your teeth. You yell as all three Equiuses hit their respective grounds. You can't help it. You start to care about this guy a little bit. As the sound leaves you, all three of them turn their injured heads and look at you in unison. You freeze. Shit, that's probably not supposed to happen, right? You were just watching, not changing anything. You really know what you're doing, though, so you can never be sure. You zap immediately back to the present, winded and dizzy. You feel deeply, suddenly corporeal, like you do when you step off a boat onto the shore, but with each atom of your body separately and all at once. So Equius, we saw 3 timelines of more of Equius, so the running gag was not killed like I feared. It has been exponentially improved by providing a narrative reason for the running gag. That is beautiful. So now, on top of all the Paradox-based comics, Equius also could have lost his horn through goofing off as a baby, through a very deep existential dissociation hitting him during one of his training sessions, but it was a particularly troublesome one, so he was having some reason that he was very upset. Or he got hit by a car because he was staring at a horse and getting way too turned on by the horse. Equius is standing exactly where he was when you left, totally unchanged, still yammering about anatomy. Whew, good to know you got fucked up in the future after you... Wait, you were there? He pauses, shaking his head to clear it as his memories realign. Don't know how I didn't remember. I accepted your offer of friendship, and you repay me with this tomfoolery. You knew how it happened all this time, and yet you played ignorant, jockeying for position as someone in trust, only to play me for a fool. No, see, you didn't before. It wasn't until after you went back and that this is the way things went. And see, the way time travel works is, do not explain time travel to me. What do you take me for? You're still reeling a bit from seeing him so vulnerable, by varying definitions of vulnerable, you guess, but still. You know you've got this information from an unfair source, but now you have it. That's a deep cut at me. I see what you did. Maybe. I don't know if it's on purpose. Probably not. But there's more to Equius than you'd originally thought, and you can feel the chance to learn more about him slipping away. I don't know what it is you want from me, but you will not receive it. Whatever connection you feel to him in this moment, he clearly does not return it. And, shit, he's starting to get pissed. Sweat begins to bead out his temple. Your brain, scrambling to grasp a hold of the thought that isn't your abject friendship failure, latches onto the realization that, sweat and all, his hair somehow still looks really good. Would now be a good time to ask what products, because I don't think this alliance is going to work out. You will leave. I must get back to my business. Your heart sinks as he turns his back to you, presses a button on the back of a robot's neck, and rolls his shoulders. Goodbye. Wow, the bad ending. Yeah, he just kind of shrugs it off and leaves. Equius didn't get all brutal murder. Oh yeah, it's very very voidy. That's awesome. I like that. I like that. Void players are still outside the realm of narrative omniscience. So, 30-second intermission. I'm gonna chug some water, use the restroom, and then the Terezi route, where I will murder my voice live on stream. If you're watching on YouTube, skip ahead like 30 seconds. Otherwise, sit tight, real quick. Alrighty. Which one would you take as your headcanon? The Bab one is nice. I think I'm gonna take the car crash. I really want to know what set him off from the fight, why he was so unattentive. But maybe some from Nepeta's route, we'll see. So, the Terezi route. I don't know if my voice is gonna last through this. I have a voice, but it hurts. And that Equius route just about killed me already. But I've been real hyped for this. As you know, I love Terezi. As you know. Let me show you something here. Let me mute the game for a second. And try to not to forget to unmute the game. I want to show you, this here. Oh. That's not how that works.
I wanna fuck Terezi, I gotta fuck Terezi, and Terezi's waiting for me. The time to fuck Terezi gets closer. I'm gonna fuck her too. I wanna fuck Terezi.
Okay, we've had enough of that. Okay. That exists. You know it exists. We don't need to see any more of it. Ooh, that music loop. It's a cool, breezy evening. Violet leaves crunch under your feet. Are you looking for all the endings? Sky, why? It's a song. Are there special endings in the Terezi route? I'm gonna go in blind. I'm gonna go in. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. It's a cool, breezy evening. Violet leaves crunch under your feet as you stroll casually through a dense and uninviting forest. Potentially triggering ending? I'm not one to usually get triggered, as long as they don't show a scary spider on the screen, or go into really weird gender dysphoria. That's the only things I have problems with. If it's bloody, violent, like, Gamzee's route was really crazy at the end. If it's more triggering than that, but if it's more social stuff, I should be... I gotta see this. I gotta see it. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I've heard other trolls show up in this route. That's all I've spoiled. I don't know the extent of how crazy this gets. It's a cool, breezy evening. Violet leaves crunch under your feet as you stroll casually through a dense and uninviting forest. Not an environment you're used to on this planet, that's for sure. You should be lapping up the serenity like a thirsty dog at a zen fountain. Instead, you're brooding. So many new friends, all of them a special breed of sad. You don't like seeing sad people, so you've done everything in your power to fix them. Slumber party, matchmaking, and you're throwing a giant spider into a volcano. The smiles your new friends greet you with are all this proof that you need that you've been doing good work. Rule of 3 funny. It is. And yet, you can't help but wonder how much of a difference any of this really makes. Especially on Alternia. You gather that even if one of your friends avoids being murdered by an insectoid eugenics robot, they'll just wind up conscripted into a lifetime of military service under a colonial empire. It makes it really hard to believe that inducing a few bouts of revelatory catharsis will ultimately amount to much. The depressing thought. You're not entirely sure what to do with it, which is why you came out here. Nothing better for the soul than a nature hike, right? Maybe after a nice long walk, you'll come out right as... Hey, is that a treehouse? Ouch. Ouch is right, criminal! Great. More shenanigans. You won't lie and say the prospect of making friends with a spooky shark in glaring red shades isn't an appealing but criminal doesn't leave a great taste in your mouth. When you try to move, well, you don't, because you're tied to a chair. Damn, that's kinky. Strike 2 on the bad taste scorecard. Probably shouldn't stick around for strike 3. In a moment of uncharacteristic self-preservation, you close your eyes and attempt to zap away. But you can't. Your head hurts and your vision is still kind of hazy, which might imply brain damage on account of your surprise winging. With your luck, that probably means your superpowers are permanently broken. Typical. Looking up at your captor again. No, that's a pyrope. You can't help thinking the specs are a bit extra. What kind of loser wears big angular sunglasses like that anyway?
You'd certainly be one to judge if you had the legal authority to do so. A fashionable dress like that with blood as deliciously red as yours? The hypocrisy on you stinks like a fragrant pus.
Gross. Jeez, what's up with these aliens and their hang-ups about blood?
Hang-ups! Gallows humor is an admirable quality. But such crowd-pleasing theatrics will not spare you from the full weight of the law!
Where's Dwayne? We need a Dwayne! I gotta put a little sour please in chat, because I don't have one prepared for the stream. There we go. That is a beautiful Terezi. Look at her. She's beautiful. Look at the... Moi. I mean, she's 13 here. But... Epilogue Terezi? I'm telling ya. I'm telling ya. That's how I'm gonna pronounce that. A bizarre tableau unfolds before you. Stuffed dragons and benches, big angry monster, empty noose dangling next to a window. Looks like you just wandered into a courtroom drama. Much to your relief, your kidnapper isn't a shark, and you have to admit the glasses do come together in the ensemble. But it is entirely a short, stocky troll girl in a short-sleeved turtleneck and a pair of garish red Crocs. They made the Crocs canon, huh? Terezi confirmed thick. She is a short, little, chubby girl. Maybe she grows into it. This is... six to 7 years before Homestuck 2? Oh no! 6 to 7 years before the epilogue! This is 9 years before Homestuck 2. Because there's 3-year journey, 3-year epilogue skip, and 3-year Dirk Theseus chip. Been with these characters a long time. I quite love song titled a QR code that leads you to the metadata that says how wow you checked James Roach. It's a good song. Can't wait till someone samples it and has to put that in the credits. The fashion on this one is staggering, especially with the... Is that a sword with the cane of a dragon's head?
It is, because I'm blind and cool. But make no mistake, I don't need eyes to smell how guilty you taste.
Wow, is every sentence that tumbles out of this troll's mouth going to be weird and uncomfortable?
Yes! But enough from you, cheery cheeks! His honorable tyranny will only tolerate so much banter before holding you in contempt.
You might be developing some contempt yourself, if you're being honest.
Well, unless you want to be squeezed until your organs burst from your eyes, you'll can the back talk and let the prosecution get to work.
Is that what being held in contempt means? Fine. Yes, you'll be polite and stop interrupting.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Right now that we have the preamble out of the way,
there's a ding from her computer, and her posture immediately switches from confident to frustrated.
Hold on.
She strides over to her husk top, tapping the gleaming edge of her cane in front of her as she goes. You wonder what kind of miraculous accessibility contraptions exist on this planet that a blind person can just use. Call it check the metadata. That's just Kakarot's theme and ASCII image of Bowsette. Is she licking the monitor? Wow, that's a sprite. That's an exploitable sprite! Gotta edit that into the Kanaya and Rose image now. Yes, she's licking her filthy fucking computer monitor. Just slathering it up with her teal-tinted saliva, going at it like a husband greeting his war wife after 20 years at sea. Brown bricks in Minecraft.
Why? Sorry, give me a second.
No problem, you say. Not like you're going anywhere. Okay, she's distracted. Now would be a great time to go somewhere. Your powers still seem to be on the fritz, but you think the weight of your incredible ass might shatter this chair if you get some leverage. Let's get some leverage! You lean forward onto your feet, take a deep breath, then hop backwards as hard as you can. And it worked! You You scramble up out of the broken chair as your captor turns towards you.
What the fuck?
You try to run, but the rope still around your legs has other plans as you trip. Try to catch your weight, fail, and just sort of let the momentum of your vaudevillain tumble carry you across the room. You slam into the captor and send both of you flying out the window. Oh, this is way higher up than you thought. You grab onto her and pray for dear life. Hey, you're not falling. That's a relief. You congratulate your agile friend on her quick reflexes and grabbing hold of... Oh. Oh no. Is this gonna be a very disturbing image of Terezi being hung by a noose? You've heard of a hung jury, but this is ridiculous! Tis! Oh! Oh boy! That's a thing they did, huh? That's much worse than anything I was expecting. She just fucking died. Undurked herself. While it was happening, I thought of some lame joke to post, but I don't even remember it. The shock of the image just completely joke gone.
Are there any E's?
Sorry. Add a little limb to the stick figure. Okay. That's out of the way. If I think of what the joke was, I'll bring it back, but I don't remember what the joke was. It was something to do with someone being hung, but it was like a really funny thing. It was like a jokey thing. And that was not. It was not. It was not. We're gonna wait it out. Okay. You decide it's best to wait this out. The sword and noose are a bit worrying, but with the plush toys and chalk drawings, it strikes you this is probably the closest thing Alternia has to a tea party, which would be adorable if it weren't so depressing. Playing along seems like a prime friend-making activity. Besides, whoever got hurt in a court a lot, I think there should be a little warning. There probably should be a warning before Terezi, although, if you go here, hanging accidental death, they do put it there. Ooh. Ooh. That's a little Homestuck leitmotif. I don't know music. I'm terrible at music. After a few brusque keystrokes, she strolls back to her place in the center of the room.
Not a word and half asleep, and now she won't shut up!
You ask who she's talking to.
Just some dumb angry girl who needs to leave me alone until the heat death of the universe. Who even cares anyway?
The heat death of the universe. That's, like a week? Maybe less?
Not me, that's who! Where were we?
Crimes?
Crimes! You're here today to face the highest justice under my authority as Premier League-affiliated legislator in training of his honorable tyranny court. That looks like a dab, Terezi! And it is with said authority that I accuse you of the most grievous crimes against the Empire of her imperious condescension.
Uh-oh. What crime could that possibly be? Breaking and entering? Doping with a clown? You guess she could technically nail you down as an accomplice of murder, but...
The crime of... existing!
What? You're waiting for the other shoe to drop, but the damn thing just seems to be stuck up there. What did she say about being in training? You're beginning to wonder if this, what did she call it? Legislator? Prosecutioner? Public dexterpetist? You're beginning to wonder if this is the murder lawyer actually knows what the hell she's talking about.
You think I'm making this up? Do I really like the kind of girl who would randomly commit unprompted and unjustified murder on a whim?
Look, you met some weird fucking trolls on this planet, and they all seem to have a pretty laissez-faire attitude about murder, so... Every time I see a character point forward in a visual number... Oh yeah, that's like Danganronpa. I think it's supposed to be objection! But it is a bit Danganronpa-ish.
No, you don't know. You know what? Fine. If you're gonna be a pedantic, snotting-up little wiggler about it, I'll just recite the whole fucking law verbatim. Article 5, Section 11, Paragraph 6-8 of the Second New Codes of Alternian Jurisprudence describes your crime as...
Listen, I went into this saying that my voice was gonna die. My voice is dead. I can't talk anymore. I'm not gonna be talking the rest of the day. And now you throw this at me? You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's do it.
Being, having been, or possessing the capacity to be in a need of a material resource consumption for the process of curtailing biological expiry, existing in and of, or around, or through Imperial territory, as one of unclassifiable sanguination mutant, one of extrasolar organization, alien, or one who plans to commit, has committed, or may possess the capacity to commit high crimes and fish demeanors against the Imperial condescension, criminal. There. Happy now?
Dang, this girl really knows her stuff. Of course I do. Sorry.
Of course I do. I'm not some fly-by-lunar cycle troll slaughter consultant. I'm a fucking professional.
Clearly. How could you question our expertise on the subject of what is and is not technically a crime when there are so many books piled up haphazardly? You definitely are existing as an alien, and you guessed that by doing the definition makes you a criminal. And from the look of that noose, you doubt the punishment of something as quaint as being thrown in the slammer. So is there an appeals process, or she springs forward with surprising agility and presses her face right up against yours, sniffing with alarming enthusiasm.
Your game of candied apple ignorance may convince the pan-scrambled clown fuckers in the cheap suits, but I smell the deception dripping off you like a delicious marmalade. You'll have to do better than this if you really want to.
He sniffs.
She sniffs again. Did Kanaya make this dress?
Oh, looking out! Yes, you say. You and her are great friends. The best. In fact, you think you should message Kanaya right now to clear all this up. You know, like a character witness.
I've witnessed your character plenty, and it's as bland as they come.
It's certainly not the worst contemplative knowing you've ever heard.
I may have misjudged you. If you tell anyone I said that, I'm going to cut off your arms and use them to finger paint bulges on your face until you bleed to death.
You decide that keeping this pointlessly mundane secret is definitely in your best interest. So, does this mean you're free to go?
Not so fast! May have implies possibility, not certainty. Maybe Kanaya gave you this dress because she likes you, or maybe you pressured her into it circumstantially. Maybe you're a delightfully clueless and well-intentioned interloper from beyond the stars. Or maybe you were sent here as a sleeper agent to learn all your weaknesses so that the entities controlling you can sabotage our future. In cases such as these, I find the best course of action is to leave the verdict up to chance. Maybe jump on my head now, Mario. I'm taking a piece.
She produces her double-hedged coin with one side scratched out. And you know immediately where this is going.
The terms are simple. Heads, and I release you from your bonds. Tails, and I release you from being alive.
Is she really about to take you out like a gangster who just portrayed their duality-themed mob boss? Ooh, I like that sprite. Before you can request a less Saturday morning cartoon solution, she flips the coin into the air. Well, this is bad. It's bad, and it makes you kind of angry. Does it make sense? You didn't do anything. But here you are with a 50-50 chance of getting mercied by a juvenile gremlin anyway. Does you think this is normal? Your head is cleared enough that you could zap away if you really tried, but something about this murder lawyer is stuck in your craw. Her devotion to justice is obvious, but it's a twisted and brutal justice, streamlined for violence and painfully efficient in enabling exactly that. If this mock trial is anything to go by, this is the same system that requires insectoid eugenic robots to keep the peace after all. There's so much wrong here, and she doesn't even see it, like, metaphorically see it. The point is falling. Every rotation brings you closer to a fate that, regardless of outcome, wouldn't be fair. You decide to think about what should be fair. Just like that, you're standing next to her. With a scream, you snatch her coin out of the air and hurl it full force out the window.
My coin!
Sorry, you shout, but she can't expect you to just accept the whims of chance when your life is on the line.
Why not?
Because that sucks! It's lame and dumb and really cliche. What is she, a comic book villain?
Am I supposed to know what that is?
You don't know? Troll culture seems to have a lot of really arbitrary similarities to human culture, and it's honestly very confusing, but that's beside the point. With a broad sweep of your arm, you gesture at the drawing of the honorary Tyrannosaurus, or whatever the heck or whatever, or just ask what you would think of your little stunt right now.
His trial isn't for him. We act like it is, but everyone knows he's just a big angry monster. Angry!
Huh? Then who?
It's for the audience, obviously. By the time you make it to the stand, you're basically dead already.
Don't the accused get a chance to defend themselves?
Defend? Only the outrageously guilty would ever think to defend themselves in a court of law.
Well, that's fucked up. What's the point of even having a trial then?
Besides the sheer pleasure of watching all the hope slowly drain from someone's eyes as they confront their imminently approaching and inevitably gruesome execution?
Yeah, besides that,
it's a warning to the sedacious of what happens when they cross the line.
And that line is existing. You know, this sounds eerily similar to Jane Crocker's TV show.
Yep.
The nonchalance of her answer underlines just how upsetting all this really is. You remember the law she recited, and one part in particular sticks out to you. Unclassifiable sanguination. Didn't Carcat try to commiserate you with having mutant blood or something?
You know Carcat too? I keep waiting for him to fuss up about team leaders, but now he won't shut up about this thing he calls a Dave. Everyone was so worked up about the game, now they're just over it suddenly.
Yeah, that's your fault. Carcat would probably have a nuclear conniption if he knew you were about to say this, but you ask her if she's aware of his blood color?
Of course I'm aware of it! What do you think I am, blind?
Yes. Carcat's a mutant, right? If you remember correctly, that makes him guilty of the same crime you are. Her expression turns sour, and you can tell this is something she's spent a lot of time trying not to think about. You figure she avoided summarily executing you because you're friends with your friends, so she would probably avoid killing Carcat as well, and that's a good thing. Great, in fact. You cannot stress just how awesome that is. But that doesn't strike her as a bit hypocritical? Making exceptions for her friends? Does she think that everyone else who dies at court or gets cold in their own hives deserves what they get just because they don't know them personally?
It doesn't matter what I think. This is just how things are. It sucks, but it would suck a lot worse to be killed for saying so. And then who would protect Carcat? Who would protect... I can't help everyone, Cherry Cheeks. I can barely help my friends. Maybe if I stick to it long enough, I can change things from the inside. It's the best any of us can hope for.
I guess that doesn't sound like the worst plan. In fact, it kind of reminds you of... Ooh. You feel a sadness well up in your heart so fast and heavy that it knocks you over into her, and without meaning to, you... zap. Your vision is swimming. Voices echo in your head, but you can't pick any of them apart. You look around and... something is watching you. Not maliciously. Not yet. Just observing from a curious distance. Not that you can do anything about it while you're clutching your head and trying to put your memories together. You've been cycling around this awful familiar feeling ever since you left Earth. Drawn towards it like a singularity, but the closer you get, the less it makes sense.
What the fuck just happened? Did you just kill me right now? Is this troll hell?
Troll hell? Do trolls not have an actual name for... Wait, she's here too?
Here seems like an ambitious description. It's more of an ambiguous nexus of metaphysical realities.
That's an awfully specific description. Has she been here before?
No, but I've tasted places like it in my dreams.
Great! Even more shenanigans. You look around and try to get your bearings, but nothing seems to be in focus. It's all too... low resolution? Simultaneously too bright and too dark to make sense of.
You okay there, Cherry Cheeks? Your blood smells really loud right now.
You wouldn't know how to react to that even if you weren't having a memory-induced thought seizure. The pieces are too far apart. You can't put them together. But you remember... friends? Bits of memory hit you. Sudden flashes of joy, of violence. Smiling faces, crying faces, bodies, plans. Hope that the world could be made into a better place.
What the fuck are you mumbling about? If you fried your think pan, at least let me in on it so I can participate. You tell her what you can remember, which isn't much. Friends, sadness, dissatisfaction. People who were deeply unhappy with the state of Alternia and faced violence from all sides, just as your new friends do today. Some of them wanted to change it from the inside, and you remember believing that they could. But you get the sense that a lot of time has passed since now and then, and it doesn't seem like Alternia has gotten much better. In fact, it may have gotten worse. It seems like whatever it was your friends tried to do, they failed. Of course they did! What does she mean by that? Even in the context of your nonsense time-traveling amnesic cover story, it's not hard to believe. Compelling idiots have good ideas all the time. That doesn't change the fact that they're idiots. Which is why I'm going to succeed where everyone else had their in-shells ripped out by a swarm of drones and died like the scrubs they were. I am many things, Cherry Cheeks. An idiot isn't one of them. She flashes a bright and pointed smile, filled with a confidence that you believe with every atom in your body. But you're pretty sure she's not the first person to make you feel that way. Idiots or not, the friends you used to have were just as sure of themselves than she is now. Then she, I don't know. And what good did it do? Honestly, you doubt that intelligence or competence has much to do with it at all. You think about the drones you barely avoided at Karkat's Hive and your brief exposure to what this planet calls a criminal justice system. For as violent and unjust as things could be on Earth, at least there was some pretext that the system existed to serve the people. Here it's just murder. You aren't sure that's a system that anyone can salvage. Her smile melts into a frown, and you really should ask what this troll's name is. Terezi Pyrope.
Terezi doesn't sound particularly happy, as she slumps against a debatedly extant wall and slides down to a crouch. Her face is a mask of barely contained emotion.
I can tell why Karkat would like you. You're very depressing.
You chuckle and sit down a respectable distance away from her. You definitely don't mean to be depressing, but you have a knack for digging up drama. The hazards of forging new friendships, you guess?
If Vriska saw us right now, she'd derisively laugh herself into an aneurysm.
Terezi knows Vriska?
That's one way to put it! We were practically sisters before she broke the rules and ruined everything.
Terezi, you don't know what a sister is. I mean, you called yourself Scourge Sisters, but it's more of like a title. It's not really a thing you can be in a relationship with.
How did you know her?
Oh, played some flarp, killed some kids, felt guilty about it, threw Vriska's mom into a volcano. Same rule of 3 joke from earlier. No, never mind.
Wow, you really have gotten around. What's a mom?
You think that's just about the saddest thing you ever heard get said, if you didn't already know what a Lucis was.
You killed her Lucis? So she's... That explains why she's been messaging me.
But it doesn't sound like... Terezi is laughing, but it doesn't sound like any laughter you've ever heard.
I can't fucking believe it! Sergen figures her shit out just in time for me to have my own identity crisis. And I bet she thinks everything's supposed to be fine between us now, just because... Wanna know a secret, Cherry Cheeks?
Might as well add another one to the pile, you say.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I never have, and I don't think I ever will.
Wow, that's bleak. You guess, you're sorry?
It's not your fault. You haven't told me anything I didn't already know.
Her lips are trembling as she reaches behind her and pulls out a box of chalk, and then removes a red piece. You think this is a weird time for artistic expression, but... Oh, she's eating it. Terezi offers you a piece. You don't want to be rude, but you also don't want to eat chalk. She shrugs and crunches on it like an unshelled lobster. I guess you have to take that in stride. The more important thing is that Terezi is inconsolably sad, which sucks because you're the only one person in position to console her. Whew! We're just now at the choice. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna pull through. We're gonna give Terezi a hug and we're gonna pull through. You don't know how to fix this. It's weird that a choice can happen in this non-world-based zone. You don't know how to make Terezi feel better. The best you can think of do is to put your arms around her, despite the fact that you're a complete stranger who basically just kidnapped her. She welcomes the embrace.
I hated her for what she did. Not to me, but to her friends. All but went to war over it. After our truce, we cut ties. My hope was that she would avoid hurting anyone else. But deep down, I knew I would have to kill her eventually. In the name of justice. She did terrible things, but so did I.
Look at the tear.
We did some of them together. Why wasn't I culpable? Why did I blame her for something we did to each other?
I think it's regrettably natural to blame the person in front of you when you get hurt, especially when the real problem is too big and esoteric to stab through the chest with a sword cane.
Vriska did what she did because she had to. So did I. We both deserve the revenge we wrought on each other.
My Terezi's turning into a car cat because I can't go that high anymore.
But we are all victims of the big picture. It made us what we are, ensured we would do what we did. Every little injustice started there. And when we fight, whoever painted that picture smiles and laughs, because they know they have already won.
She sits up a little straighter, and you feel your own spine follow suit almost on its own.
Fuck that!
Terezi slips out of your arms and stands up, pulling you to her feet with her. Her entire demeanor has changed. She's practically vibrating with determination.
Take me to Vriska's hive.
I'm assuming that's a thing you can do. Oh, yeah, that's a thing you can do. Your mind is still buzzing, but talking to Terezi has calmed that storm just enough for you to focus. As you take her hand, you spare a last look around this bizarre, impossible space. You still feel watched, but it's distant now. Maybe even approving? You have so many questions, but those will have to wait. Right now, you've got work to do. Zap. There we go. Before you even see where you've landed, Terezi marches up to a very surprised Vriska and backs her against the wall. She stops just a few feet away, looking up at the cerulean spider girl with anger on her face. There are people messaging me. Despite their appearance and stature, Vriska is intimidated, caught her off guard, and Terezi is unflinching. The room is completely silent. You see Terezi clenching her fists. She looks one wrong move away from unleashing hell. This isn't quite what you had in mind when you brought her here, and you really hope your new friends aren't about to fight each other. Something in the air changes. You aren't entirely sure what's happening, but something is definitely happening. And you figure it's best to just cross your arms and pretend you don't exist. Terezi's posture softens. Her hands relax as she breathes a soft sigh. Vriska straightens up, letting her own tension dissipate. I guess you're feeling a little tense yourself? Vriska cracks a hesitant smile. Terezi leans back. She's sniffing the air intensely. Feels like a good sign. Everyone's getting a little looser, a little more casual. Definitely an improvement. Then they both start cackling, slapping their knees like you've just heard the most hilarious knock-knock joke in history. You'd sure like to get in on the joke too, but figured it would probably be rude to ask. And then they hug? You're not exactly sure what just happened, but you figure hugging is a powerful platonic friend activity even in the worst times. It's gotten you this fall. Yeah, that's what all this is, just two gal pals hugging it out. It's so sweet you could cry. When they separate, Terezi meanders over to a window overlooking the pit where Terezi's Lucis used to live. Vriska's Lucis used to live. So she is dead. Oh yeah, I'm real broken up about it too. Vriska winks at you. Is that a wink or a blink? She's got one eye covered, so it's just sort of... Okay, let me see if I can do this. I'm not. Terezi turns and leans up against the windowsill. You have a lot to make up for. That's why I've been messaging you. I want to apologize, okay? I don't want your apology, Vriska. I have a lot to make up for, too. There's definitely some kind of obvious thing going on in this room you're completely oblivious to. I wonder what went down between these girls. They can't even talk about what they're talking about. What do you mean? There is so much injustice in the world. Every drop of deliciously innocent and painfully extracted blood on this planet is just paint for the fishy fucks up to top to play with. And the worst part is that they were all complicit. We revel even. I reveled in it. Terezi, or you, they could never make this violence good, so they had to make it fun. And I had so much fun hurting people. Who knows how long I would have gone on like that if I hadn't been for this weird invasive species of friend here. Terezi wipes a tear from her cheek and smiles at you, and you feel a huge wave of relief. Friends, with a former murder lawyer in training. You sure know how to pick 'em. For once, Vriska, I want to revel in something good. I wanted them to feel the razor edge of their own justice. I want their blood to stain the dirt beneath my feet like the pathetic wriggling insects they are, but I can't do it alone. I don't want to do it alone. You watch as Terezi takes in a measured breath. For just a moment, you can imagine her standing in a room full of determined people, just behind the person everyone else would call a leader, smiling a wicked smile. She's not the one who commands the stage, you think. She's the one who controls the spotlight. She's the one who knows what happens next. I'm not sure what we are together anymore, Vriska. I've hated you. I've felt a lot of things. What I know is we're dangerous, and fate seems determined to make us rivals. That almost sounds fun, doesn't it? We could fight for the rest of our lives if we wanted to. Each of the scourge of the other until one or both of us winds up dead. They'd tell stories about us for a long time, but I don't want that to happen to anymore. Do you? No! You haven't known Vriska for very long, but this is a side of her you've never seen. You doubt many people have. It's actually really awkward. You should probably go, but your prying curiously and desire for interpersonal closure keep you glued to the spot. We've had the right idea in the wrong circumstances, but this time, I think we can finally do something together. Let's try this again. Vriska, will you be my scourge sister? Yeah, obviously! Good! Then let us get to fucking work! They share a look that you can't quite read, but you get the feeling this was a resounding success. Scourge sisters unite! Oh, look at them! I'm gonna leave you on this screen. I like this screen. Because I have to take another 30-second intermission. Because that was really rough on me. And we have one more path to do. So I'll be right back. Alrighty. Okay. I'm gonna try to power through this. We got one ending more to see before my voice dies. I don't know if I can do character voices, but we shall see. We're going to give her a distraction. You heave out a mournful sigh. Alterni is a meat grinder fine-tuned to pulverize anyone who tries to gum up the works. Maybe there's something to be done, but you don't think either of you are going to be the ones to do it. Yeah. Why bother, right? She's probably just fine without me anyway. When you look over at her, you see she's doing her very best to hide her tears. That's no good. You may be lost in the cynical ennui of political burnout, but that doesn't mean you can just sit by and watch your new pal descend into an abject disarray. What you two need is a distraction. What you need is a clown. Oh no! I take it back! I take it back! This is the worst idea of all time! We are not doing this! No, 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 no! No, 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 no! No! We are not no! Okay, we're doing it. You grab Terezi's hand and think of the happiest, honkiest thoughts you can muster, and just like that... Oh! You're right there in the living room with your dear old friend Gamzee. What a sight for sore eyes is this jovial cut-up of a drug-addled juggalo. Oh, right to his music, even. You guys get to hear my Gamzee voice, as best I can do it right now. Actually, having a sore, gravelly throat might help. What in the fucking motherfuck? With comical slowness, he dives bomb away from you over his couch into a pile of horns. A chaotic honk cacophony sends Gamzee into a chorus of screams. You elbow Terezi. Smell that? How she can possibly think about the crushing impossibility of making the world a better place when this fella's over here acting like such a fool. Her frown is unwavering as Gamzee clambers back up to his feet.
That was a righteous motherfucking miracle you all just got up and did in front of me. Got me scared honk-wise right into the horn pile, my brother. It's a real good thing I'm tripping the pie clown-tastic right now, otherwise my pump biscuit might have flipped turnways high enough to make me all violent, motherfucker.
His smile is nothing if not quarterly unhinged.
Hey, Gams. Terezi. Will you fuck me all situationally up? What did it do, my sister?
Well, fuck me up. I mean, the other works too.
It do too much. Shit, man, that's some of the best news to hear. Now that I'll ever looking up you motherfuckers, you seem pretty helliciously burdened like the soul that we have.
You agree that you do all have souls, probably. That's the answer he's looking for, right?
If I have a soul, it's a tart-tasting slime stuck on the bottom of a ground pusher covering... You mean a shoe? Whatever! Well, I don't know what you two hoes have described or scribbled on your plan progress for tonight, but if it's the world that has you wary-eyed, methinks maybe you should get to having your think pans all up in some eyebrains, my mans.
It's not a bad idea. What better distraction from the dystopic nightmare of Alternia than the warm, comforting embrace of hallucinogenic drugs? Terezi seems momentarily unsure, like some sensible part of her is desperately begging her to do literally anything else.
Fuck it!
She plops down the couch with determination, sinking into it like a sack of disillusioned potatoes.
That is directly the noise that I like to hear.
Gamzee slithers down next to her and puts an arm over Terezi's shoulder. She tenses up but doesn't push him away.
What about you, Miracle Themster? You want to be a getting up on this?
He pats the seat next to him with a delightful grin. You'd think you'd feel the same tug of reason Terezi felt, but you'll be damned if you pretend to have more sense than a lawyer. Besides, you're having a rather hard time imagining anywhere you'd rather be than the arms of a fragrant clown. Oh. He puts his arms around your shoulders as you sit and try to make yourself comfortable.
Now ain't this the coziest motherfucking snuggle sesh there ever was?
You see Terezi sniff at an open, half-empty Faygo bottle before taking a big swig.
Pass me some of that wicked elixir, my sister.
Gamzee takes his own demure sip, gargling as he drinks from the bottle. By the time he passes it to you, you're pretty sure it's more backwash than Faygo. Which is still more Faygo than none, you guess. It is, without a doubt, the most vile combination of taste and viscosity that you'd ever put into your body, but hey, at least now you're not thinking about politics. As you toss the empty bottle to the ground, already lost in a stupefied haze, you glance over at your new pal Terezi. She doesn't look happy, but at least she doesn't look sad. Goal accomplished, you guess.
Wasted.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. And that is volume 7. Oh boy. I was gonna do a longer insight here and explain things, but my voice is dead. So I'm gonna simply state that my data mining stuff now, if you haven't seen, Homestuck Info has rebranded. We're still Homestuck Info, but we have a new look. We have a new slew of content. I'm working on videos, but I'm putting a lot of development time into Suburb online. And I think the data mining stuff is going to be a larger scale, nicer video. I got people saying that Vriska was the 8th character. She wasn't in the 8th volume, but she was the 8th character. I've gotten people saying that they don't like the data mining stuff. They don't like the information prying stuff. So I'm not slacking, but I'm holding back on that a bit. I'd still like to talk about data mining style stuff, but I'm going to make it a more professional video, like video game journalists do, like a top unused here's the unused content of HiveSwap FriendSim, and to do just one video on it after all the volumes are out, just as one thing, not like here's every little piece of info I can scrape from it. So we'll see how that goes. And then if that goes well, I can go back and do it for HiveSwap, for FriendSim, for everything else. And I still have some more original content to do. I want to talk about Homestuck, but I haven't quite nailed down exactly what I want to do. I just have a long list of videos I'd like to make, so we'll see where that goes. But I'm still going to try to do these streams for every volume that I can. So thank you all for watching. This has been great. This is an hour and a half. These volumes are getting long. Glad I had the house to myself for some of today. Have a good day, everyone, and keep on homestucking.